No, call 10 minutes ago.
Raj
He's
is
asked,
there.
yeah, we've
Hello,
got,
Raj.
Hello, Raj Radhaswamy.
you're on mute,
Thank you for
Raj.
joining us. I would like to dedicate this satsang to Mr. Puri, to our master, in his loving memory. Those who are able to meet him, they're very, very fortunate. And those who were initiated by him, they won the biggest lottery in all the universes. Including Sachkhand. They don't have to worry about anything. So the satsang, I'm going to say a few words, and then I'm going to ask you, Raj, to share some stories with us. And after that, we have a little break. And we continue with the question and answers. We're going to have a question and answers after you finish, Raj, after a little break after that.
Okay, thank you.
The reason for that is because I got a lot of questions from many different people. And I recently received some questions. These are very serious questions. I'm not trying to avoid answering those questions for last year, but I was happy in the sense that no one had brought them up in the satsangs, because there's a great responsibility with that, at least on my part. But these are very valid questions, and I promise one person, for example, that I will answer them. Someone from Canada, and I will not tell the name. I will not be able to tell names who asked these questions for privacy. And these questions, they have to do with Sant Mat, Surchab Yoga, and Mr. Puri and organization, and what's going on after Mr. Puri left his physical form. So I will address that to all of you who is going to stay after the break. So maybe Raj, you'll be so kind to share some stories with us. I would like to point out that Raj is one of
Yeah, can you give me time, like 20 minutes?
you can have all the time you want, you know.
No. After
will.
20 minutes, I can be able to talk after 20 minutes.
Yes, Pranay will let you know. Is that okay, Pranay? Could you let Raj know?
Okay.
Sure.
You
sure,
continue.
Cezary.
I want to listen your sweet words, holy words of satsang first. You blessed me first.
I would like to express this much about Raj. Grace and I, we know Raj for a few years, but she has my highest respect.
You are sweet soul of Ishwarji,
In
you
fact,
know. Good.
In fact, you know, there are very few people who has such a high respect for me. First two people will be Mr. Puri and his wife Toshi. They have the highest respect, and Mr. Puri family. But from the Sun God, from all the Satsangis I ever met, That will be the one. So I'm really thankful. So please, the forum is yours. Satsang is yours, Raj. I'm just going to be here listening.
Mute. She put on mute. We cannot hear you.
I've asked, requested Raj Auntie to unmute you.
Unmute. Okay. It's okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I was saying some souls are predestined to be with the perfect master. You know, sometimes masters are passing by the souls and they don't recognize, and they don't even can get the chance to talk to him. But they are under the vibration of perfect master. They don't know when they get the vibration and when the right time comes to join him. You know, so the first meeting by passing the master through the soul cannot recognize, but that vibration stays with the souls from where the master is passing. So the souls, according to the right time, they get the source to meet the master. So such is my brother. He was always with me, with him, and getting his blessing day by day. And he loved you, you loved him. So you never know since when you are connected with him. Maybe past life too. So it's rare souls who have chance to be close to the perfect master on this earth, you know. So once I am telling you the story when first time he came to Bibilajo in my town. And when I finished my college, I used to go to Bibilajo's house. It was like 10 minutes ride on my bicycle from my college to Bibilajo's house. So when I am done with my college, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, I used to go to Bibilajo, and she always waiting for me for lunch to eat together. After listening her stories, I was to go back to my own home. So one time I came, so there was a police, all police, buses, cars, motorcycles are standing in front of Bibilajo's house on the road, you know. So I was very surprised. I went on bicycle, and like usual, I go to there and I parked my cycle in the yard of Bibilajo's residence. It was a big bungalow over there. And the one guard, he stopped me. Please don't enter. So I said, why you are standing here? What happened to Bibilajo? Why the police is like in a car? Though two cars are over there and one bus. The bus is filled with the police too, and two my motorcycles are with the school. What happened to Bibilajo, to my mother? You know, he said, no, there's nothing like that. Our secretary, Saab, our Punjab secretary, Mr. Puri, is inside. So nobody can enter this house now. You wait. I was very surprised. Who is that officer? You know, it was very surprise for me. So Bibilajo's sister-in-law saw me from the window that I am standing outside. And she came up and she told the guard, let her come. She is the daughter of Bibilajo. And to whom he is meeting, she is the daughter of that lady. So then he let me go in. When I went in, the one guard is standing by the door in front of the room where Bibilajo and Ishwarji were talking. Now that guard said, you cannot enter the room even. I said, what is going on? Why? Who is that person? Even Master Kirpal comes, I am allowed to go. And Vyas Master came, I allowed to go. Who is this one? Even the deputy commissioner of the city comes, I am allowed to go. Corporation officer, Mr. Dheer Saab was in there, and he comes, I am allowed to you. What is this kind of officer? I'm not allowed. So I told the guard, can you tell my name to my mother that I am here? It was summer, I was so much like a sunny day, and I cannot stand outside. In India, it's very hard to stand outside. So then the guard went in and he told my name. Then Bibi Lajo said, oh, that's what I was talking, and she is there, and let her come. So when I came and Ishwar was looking at me, it looks like I know you, I saw you somewhere, he said. So I only folded my hand like that, namaste. So then Bibi Lajo told about me everything. And he said, oh, okay. So I said, I can go out, you are talking. Then Ishwarji said, no, you sit, we are just talking about Master Savan. It's okay. So I sat there, and the sister-in-law of Bibi Lajo brought some tea and snacks over there, and we ate all together. And then Ishwarji left, and all police and everything, we went out to see him off. And he sat in the car. One motorcycle of police is in front of the car, one is at the back. And the bus is going in front of him, and one car is at the back of the motorcycle. So like this, the security, the chief secretary is going on like that, left the place. And Bibi Lajo told me, he is not only a chief secretary here, he is a god in America. I said, God? Who is God? How can he be God? No, he is, American people respect him, and he does satsang over there and does initiate over there, and he's a God over there, I said, I was laughing. How can we? It's possible that he's God. So in 1982, me, my dad, my daughter, and my nephew, we left for America because my brothers, sisters are living in California. So when I went, I knew Dr. Brinson. Since then, he came in India. Dr. Brinson came in India too. He stayed with Bibi Lajo, and I was there to serve him, to cooking and everything. So I knew him. So when I came in California, I called Dr. Benson. I said, I am here. He said, why you are here? Come here in Chicago. So, master is here. I said, who is the master? Ishwar Puri, you don't know? We were over there. I came with him and Bibi Lajo's house in India. Oh, who is one, the Ishwar who is called God? He laughed. Dr. Vincent, he laughed aloud. You come here. Okay. So me and my father, next day, we left for Chicago. And Dr. Benson came to see. He told Ishwar that he sent Dr. Benson to take us from the airport. And I am standing on the airport. My father is standing, and Dr. Benson is wandering here and there on the airport, and he cannot recognize me. Because in India, we are in Indian dress. And in America, we are in American dress. So he couldn't recognize me. So he announced in the TV my name. And my dad looked at the TV. He said, it's your name. He is putting your announcement. I said, I can't recognize him. To me, everybody's look like Dr. Benson, on the airport, all the black men like that, So it was like 2 years back, I saw him, so I couldn't recognize him. And I was laughing. I said, I don't know who is the Dr. Benson, and he cannot recognized me in this sari, sari, the long dress. Yeah. So when I came here, my sister cut some hair too, without asking me, they cut my hair too. So it was totally changed. So I was laughing, and then he saw me laughing. Then he came, "You are Raj?" I said, "Yes, sir." "Oh, Ishwar sent me here. He's waiting for you. He's so happy." So at that time, Ishwar was giving satsang in Milwaukee. And Juliet Benedict was in charge over there, and Barbara was there too. So he long drive from Chicago, 3 hours, and he took me to the Milwaukee and the Barbara's house, and we went over there. And he was very happy to see me. I don't know. I was just, he's my boss, he's my officer. So, and next day, he booked the hotel for me and my dad, same hotel. And we stayed there. Second day, he said, "Dr. Benson, we are going to the hall in that hotel." So there was a hall booked, and there was satsang. And we sat over there. He started doing satsang. I was very surprised. He is doing satsang here, So I was sitting in there. Okay, satsang is satsang. He belongs to Vyas, he knows how to do the satsang. It's a good job to do the satsang here. And he's making ready to the new souls. That's very good. So after satsang, he started giving prasad, apples, everybody. And I was also in a line. So when I went to take the prasad and he gave me, he said, the Barbara told me that take the prasad. I said, "What prasad?" "We take the prasad from Vyas masters." He said, "What are you saying? He is our master, take prasad." And he was looking at me and laughing. He said, "No, she will not take prasad, she will take an apple." I said, "Yeah, this is right. Give me apple." So still I got the apple with my both hands like that. And my father take the, then we went back from the satsang, and he called us in his room, my dad, and he said, "Didn't Bibi told you that I am a God here?" He was making joke because Bibi told him that she was making a joke for you, how he can be a God. "Didn't Bibi tell you that I am a God in America and an officer in India?" "Yes." I said, "God is the God is in your forum here?" "Yeah, you can think like that. That God is in a forum in you too. You are also God for me. Everybody is a God here. Those who talk about God, he is a form of God. You know that?" And I said, "It's okay. Now I understand a little bit that what you are and what you are doing. Now I don't explain me now. God is a very big name for me, but you are master, right? Like Master Savan." "Oh yeah, now you understand, Then Juliet Benedict, he took me to her house, and he has a talk over there next day. When I went, I thought he's a master, so many people around him, and he does a satsang, and I should be agree with that. You never know the game of the Master Savan, what is he doing in here, So I went, and I, like a master here, I bent down and I touched his feet like that. He said, "Don't spread out this disease in America." I said, "This is a disease?" "Yeah, touching my feet, you're spreading disease here to the Americans. Don't do that here." After that, one who was coming, following me, always touching his feet and go back, touching his feet and go back. He said, "I told you, I have no shot, no injection for that to stop it now. You spread it." So Then there was a very old lady who was first initiated by Master Savan Singh. He said to my dad, now we are going to her house. I will introduce that lady. I forgot her name. And he said, we will take you in a train here. So we caught the train, we went. That lady was so good, very nice. And this is what? My first introduction in America. And I found really God, really forum of my son over there. How sweet he was. I don't believe that I'm telling about him. All image in my front, in my eyes, I don't believe he left me still. He's helping me still. He's giving me so many souls, his souls to me, dear ones, you know. And thank you very much. I was so excited. I was looking this satsang yesterday.
We can listen for you forever.
I have a question. Could you explain, because we have some new friends, you know, like from Poland, Bibi Rajo. Not everyone may know who Bibi Rajo was. Could you say a few words about that?
Bibi Rajo was, you don't have a biography. You bought a biography book from me. Bibi Rajo's autobiography.
We know who Bibi Rajo was, but there's some there's someone in the satsang who may not know
Question.
who Bibi Rajo was. Could you explain to that person?
Yes.
Oh.
Bibi Rajo's early life was different, and she died at the age of like 8 years, and she came out, get up from the graveyard, right? And since then, she was worshipping Rama and Krishna, and she was reading Gita. And when she became young, she stayed with her uncle's house and father's younger brother and aunt. And she was starting doing satsang, reading Gita and Ramayana in her village. And the ladies used to come over there to listen all her, this satsang on Gita, the holy book, Gita and Ramayana. And she has so many good verses. Then when she was worshipping God, Krishna and Rama, she tear a piece of paper like this and then write the name of Krishna and make bowls like that. And one bowl she was putting in a basket. Like this, she was just, we do the Simran sitting, she was making bowls with the Simran and putting the balls in the basket, and the basket full, she put in a sack. One sack is filled, she started other. Like this, too many sacks of her bowls with the Simran of Krishna. She had a room. The room was filled. So 2 ladies were Satsangi, used to come in a bias. And they told Hazur Savan, there is one lady, she is a widow. She became widow at the age of 10. She was having child's marriage. So she was at parents' house when the boys died. She doesn't know the meaning of widow. She was just wearing every kind of clothes and never know. But when Hazur heard the story of this lady, Hazur went to her village to give a satsang. Then Hazur told those ladies, call that lady to the satsang. When they went, the both of her friends, you know, who were used to listen the Gita from her, they went to the house and they told that our master, our guru is here doing satsang and he wants to see you to go with us. She said, I never go to any man. I always be with the ladies. I don't go listen any satsang from a man. So they went back and told Hazur, she's saying like that. Hazur said, laughed. He said, okay, she is my soul, you know, she has to come to me. It's okay, next time I will come and I will go myself. And that day, The Byas was like 40, 50 miles away from that village. So went back in the evening, master went back to Byas. Next time, after 15 days, Savan came to give a satsang again in her village. This time after satsang, Hazur went to her house. And she was very happy that saint is coming and like this. Then Hazur said, will you like to come to Byas, you know? And see, there are so many, your friends, ladies are there too. She said, I don't have permission from my uncle and aunt. Next time I will get permission, then I will go. So then master just gave a darshan and went back. And then Hazur came third time, visited her. Now she was agree. She said, okay, I will go. Then said, Kaku, will you go and just listen satsang and come back? She said, I cannot go by myself. I have something to take with me. So Hazur said, what is that? He said, there is my Krishna. He is living in this room. I have to take that. Hazur said, can I see your Krishna? He said, yes. And she opened the door and there was full of sacks, full of sacks. From the ground to the roof, ceiling, the sacks are like that. Hazur said, oh, what is in there? He said, my Krishna is in the sacks, you know. So what kind of Krishna you are? I mean, he cannot breathe over there. He is hiding, you are putting in the sacks. He cannot breathe, he will die. She was very innocent and true love for Krishna. He said, okay. Yes. He said, I can take them with them. I will come next week, we'll bring the truck and we will pack those sacks and we'll take to Byas. Master went and next week, Master brought Sevadar and truck. It's a real story I wrote in my book too. And truck. And those sacks were taken in the truck to Byas. And trucks directly went to the edge of the river Byas. The beach of the river Byas. And she was also in a car with the master and two ladies. And they went on the Byas beach too. And the Sevadars already have the arranged to sit for Hazur on the beach of the river. And the chair was there. Hazur sat on a chair. These babies, they sat on the floor, on the carpet. And then Hazur said, take the one by one sack out, open it, and throw the all balls on the river's water. They started and pouring those balls of paper on the river water. And she said, no, he will drown. Don't do that. Hazur said, no, he will not drown. He is swimming. Look at that. He's looking so good. She said, when I saw those balls swimming in a line, they were shining like a diamond. And one time on one ball, I saw Krishna. On one ball, I saw someone standing. He's sitting by me and standing on the ball. And Krishna is standing other ball. So they were looking like both are going on the water. And I lost myself. She said, I don't forget the balls, but my all conscious was in Master, Savan, and Krishna. And the whole body, the sacks were all dropped over there on the water, and the long line they were going on the water. And she was having darshan. Since then she came to know, Krishna and Savan, both are one. And she went back to home. The Sevadar those ladies took her home. Then she got the permission from her uncle and aunt that I want to go Vyas in a satsang, listen. They said, no, you cannot go. Because they were afraid she is more than a saint and she will stay there. So they didn't allow. So she said one time, my uncle, after 10 days, he was transferred from that, he was in a railway, transferred from that to the Amritsar, to the city. And they caught the train and the train has to pass Vyas station. When it stopped at the Vyas station, Bibi, as a young girl, like 23-year-old, she went out, came off the train and she said, I'm thirsty, let me drink the water from the tap. And she drank the water from the tap. And she took time, purposely took time to drink the water. And then the train went and she was left on the Vyas all alone. And she asked somebody, I want to go to Dera. And the host cart, they took her in a Dera Vyas and he went there and they asked the Sevadar, I want to see master. And the master came out and she slipped from the train and went to Dera like that, you know. And the other interesting stories are so many stories from the Bilajo. I'm going to stop now because my brother is waiting for the satsang. So that is the Bibi Lajo. How Hazur brought his soul there. And she was cooking for master. She was washing clothes. She was all in the kitchen. Wherever master went, she was with him. I wrote the stories, Memories of Saman. That is her book. She explained everything in there, you know. So this is Bibi Lajo, and I got it as my spiritual mother when I was 12 years old. I read the book, her book written on the table my mom brought from Vyas, and I was searching for this lady, where she is. From the address, I came to know she is living in my town after Master Town. So,
Thank you very much. This was a beautiful story, Raj.
but I
We
took
are
a time. I
so
took a
blessed.
lot of time. I took
No.
time, but
No, there's little time to
No,
tell.
I mean, this is just beautiful.
This is
I'm
priceless.
so
I
touched.
jumped and jumped the time because when I was telling story, there was other attachment over there, but I jumped it. So because of time.
Thank you very much. And that was just so beautiful. I'm so blessed to listen to your stories.
Yes.
I would like to take a break. Pranay, 5 or 10 minutes. 10 minutes is okay, or?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
Cezary.
No,
10 minutes,
no,
okay.
I'm ready to listen your satsang, your holy words.
I'm ready to listen to you.
No.
I didn't want you to stop.
We will.
Me and my daughter, we will invite you. You have to come here to stay with me. And then all night we are passing all in the memories of Master. Yeah.
Where do you live exactly? I mean, the town.
I am nowadays in California, Bakersfield. But
Yeah.
actually I was living in Minnesota, Minneapolis.
Bakersfield, okay.
You know, I am with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And now Minnesota is not good for me. I'm going to sell my house in April last. Yeah.
So I heard, and smart choice. I can only say that.
Yeah. On second, I have a bandara in my house. People are coming from Canada, 5 people. Right. And some are coming from only 15 minutes because of COVID and some distance. And I have not a big house yet. My daughter is looking for a big house. And on 2nd April, we have a retreat, 2nd and 3rd, both days. Okay. So we are totally 15 people because, yeah. Very but good. Next time, You have to do the satsang in my retreat, next retreat here.
So the other house, the larger house, when is that going to be? This year, or you planning? Your daughter?
I always, for the many years, like 43 years, I always do 4-6 bandaras every year in my house in India too. So
Right.
it was well to do there, like 500 people were coming in India too, you know. But here in America, in Minneapolis, I used to do that. And Ishwarji started his first satsang on this bandara in Minneapolis in my house in 96. He did 3 satsang. Then he started doing satsang in Bruce. So, so I do that. Now I will do Master Saban Singh's birthday in July. After that, I do Bibi Lajo's Bandara in August 20th and Master Kirpal, my master. So I do 4 Bandaras. Now our Ishwarji's Bandara, I will add next to that. So I will mostly invite you and have your darshan too. And you listen your satsang here too. We will arrange, don't worry. Sangat is very good and they love you.
No, I am not worried. I appreciate your invitation.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. There's a lot of things is going to happen this year, later on this year.
Yeah,
So,
you are my brother and Ishwar is always with us. I'm not doing. He will do, he will bring you. You're not coming yourself.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, there's going to be some beautiful things happening, but we will learn in time about that. But thank you very much. I mean, I do the best I can to be there.
First, we will invite you. We will invite you first in our house. Then we will talk.
Then we see what's going to happen. Right now, I'm not planning to travel anywhere. We're not planning to travel anywhere with Grace, you know. But,
okay, I will request to him within. Okay.
So
he never rejected my request. He always listens to me. That's
so
why I'm with you. I'm with you now. That's why, not myself.
So
you are my brother. You are my brother. My good brother. Okay.
Yes.
I will break. I will never leave you. Have a break now.
So let's take 10 minutes, right?
Yes.
10 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Raj.
It's 7:16 in India now, so 10 minutes. It's you soon. Yeah.
You want to show?
Yeah, you can.
Starting.
So is it time?
Yes.
Welcome back. Grace was just sharing something with me. And
I don't know if you see me, else. Can
can
you see me?
Just half of the face can be visible.
Oh, I don't.
now,
3/4 now.
Now I see you. Could you switch the screen?
1 second. Yeah. Has the screen been switched?
No,
No,
but that's okay.
because I don't know if I'm
If we
in the camera or not. I see just a huge picture with your face.
Or,
Very handsome guy, but I cannot tell if I'm outside.
we cannot see
We cannot.
ourselves.
or it's just the you on Spotlight. In fact, I mean, you can be seen in the on everyone's screen. I presume because there's a button called
But
pin.
on my screen, on my computer, all I see is you.
Oh no!
No.
Oh no!
And now I know how handsome you are, but if I'm just looking at you, I don't know. I cannot position myself in the right. If I'm,
Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Now we can see ourselves.
So
All right. This is one of the Raj book. What I got in 2018. She wrote this little note for me. That was for the Christmas party when we went to join the Christmas party with the master. And in that book, I just went to pick up from the bookcase. There was a card inside of master, who, dear Cezary and Grażyna, with all great wishes to you and love, sincerely yours, Ishva and Toshipuri. That's a Christmas card. What was in the book with Raj. And this is another book what she wrote, Secret Word of Guru, Satma. So that's two of the books. I have another books from her too. Maybe next time I will show you.
So the coincidence is that we got these books from, we bought from Raj, and at the same time, Master gave us the card, Master and Toshi. We have an extensive correspondence with Master and Toshi, and these are all handwritten letters. So I was talking to Pranay one time, we need to preserve this somehow. So these do not get lost in that sense, because there's incredible wisdom, and these are handwritten. It's not like so there's quite a few of these. I was making copies and just in case, but this will have to go to someone when we're gone, because it's just too precious, And so we're gonna start second part of the satsang. Does anyone has a question, a specific question? Maybe this is live. This is not. There's no script, this is live satsang. So if anyone would like to pose the question about any subject, I have some questions I wrote down today here on like a pieces of paper, and this has to do with these questions. They have to do with
from the Satsang.
These are from Satsangis in that sense, and from the inner. So I would like to address some of the subjects, maybe not all of them, but if anyone would like to either verbally or send the message to Pranay with a question, we can do that first or tie into that. I'll wait a little bit. hopefully I get a lot of questions from you, so I don't have to answer this. Because I'm at the point I don't have a choice but to address some of this, because first the questions are three that they specifically sent by Satsang, Satsangis, and I promise that I will kind of say a few words about that. I'd like to thank Raj for beautiful satsang. I was so moved, and she is very, very, very special person. Satsangi, and so Pranay, does anyone? Is there any other questions from anyone?
No, Cezary, no questions
No.
from anybody. Tej has one question. He can send over text. I'll read it out when.
Okay,
When he sends
let's go. Let's go. Let's do the question first. Go ahead.
He says he will send over text. So
Oh.
just waiting for it.
No, I will. Can I speak over?
Oh, please,
everyone?
please, yeah, go ahead.
I'm from Winnipeg,
Good.
Canada. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome, everyone.
Uh,
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah, so I have a question over the worldly attachments. Like I'm on the spiritual path, and I also went to Dera Vyas whenever in the Punjab region. In this Canadian life, why the worldly attachments are more like distract on my path? Like I'm also do meditations and sometimes read the books, but worldly attachments are more powerful in this age. Like how to overcome that?
Could you repeat that again, please?
Yeah, like
The
I have
last
a
part. The
question
last
that,
part of the question. Go ahead.
like how to overcome the worldly attachments. They are more powerful than a spiritual progress. Like that, I have one question. Like in this life, why the worldly attachments are more powerful than masters? Like how to overcome the worldly attachments? I have one question. Like
Anyone would like to answer this question? I mean, this is open satsang. We all brothers and sisters. Anyone would like to address this question? This is a very, very, very good question and important. No takers. No one would like to address this question?
Yeah.
Well, this is the question important because at one point or the other, we all faced this question, and if not in this life, then in the past life, the attachments. The way we perceive this, as we call reality here, physical world, is through the astral form. And Mr. Puri explained that the astral form are the senses. So if you, in your physical form here, going about your life, please understand that the way you experience this life, physical life, it's your astral body. Many of us think this is the physical form experiencing, but this is actually experiencer in this sense is the astral form. So the physical form is just a vehicle in that sense. So misunderstanding is that I am a person, and this person experiences all this, including attachments, but actually it's the astral form. You are the astral form, experiencing through your physical body. Now the attachments are the many kind of attachments. But generally, when you come to this spiritual part of Sutra Yoga, as it's expressed in Sant Mat, there's a process what we call meditation. And meditation, as explained in Sutra Yoga, was by all these masters, it's a very specific. But it's also designed, when you practice, if you practice, is designed to help you with those attachments. And please understand that any attachment, even if you initiate it into Sutra Yoga, it will hold you here. As long as you have the attachments here, that will hold you back. In other words, you have to come back. This is what the process of reincarnation is explained. And the process of reincarnation is very, very solid process. If you're not initiated and you still hold all these attachments, when you die, you have to come back. And the process, the way it goes, you have no choice. Mr. Puri explained that you have no choice how and when in that sense. The only choice, according to Mr. Puri, is where do you go? Depends on your karma, You go to heaven or you go to hell. That is the only choice, as explained by the master, you have. But otherwise, when you're in that court, and this is very interesting, satsang will be, if someone mentioned that to me some other time, to explain the process of dying, what happened, where do you go, who do you stand in front, how that looks, and what are the proportions and all that, and what do you really see. That would be interesting satsang. Now, when you initiate it on the path of Sutra Yoga or Sant Mat by the perfect living master, like Mr. Puri, there are many different masters, in the past, and many people are initiated by all these different masters. Then the process is the same. Now, the current master at Vyas, Dera Vyas, Sant Gurinder Singh Dhillon, there are similar questions, there are his satsangs or question and answers, and the satsangis, they ask similar questions. His answer to this question, one of his answers was that, that if you have attachments, they're going to hold you back. And even some masters will say, some masters, that if you have zero attachments, nothing can hold you here. So this is very, very good point, and it's tied into some of the questions I have actually. So there is no coincidence. How do you go about it? One of the ways you go about is to meditate. Meditation will help you to go within and withdraw your attention from outside. Because in reality, there's nothing outside. I know this may sound, why is he saying that? there's really nothing outside. And this is the state of realization we come across. A mind, the attachments are created within the mind. They like samskaras, like a thought forms. And they become real within a physical life. Now, there are different forms of attachments. You know, there could be attachment to your spouse, to your friends. You may love someone, or you may hate someone and be attached to that. Now, in this path, any kind of attachment will hold you. And this is very, very, very important. Even attachment, and you know, we're talking about here the relationship between the master and disciple, perfect living master and his disciple, and here. Now, so the good attachment or good karma or bad attachments, the bad karma will still hold you here. So many people go to psychologists, they go to psychiatrists, you know, trying to deal with different things. All these are temporary. So even if you come across someone who can help you with this and that, there's a question if that person can help you. I only know personally only the one way to deal with that, and that is through meditation and to put your attention, in my case, on the master. So in other words, the attachment to the master becomes like so overwhelming that all these other attachments, they will be eliminated in that sense, including the five boys, you know, the vices and all of this Mr. Puri spoke about, that this master spoke about. So it is the process of attention. Every experience you have, it is the attention or surat on any particular aspect of your life. You cannot experience anything unless the surat attention is on it. And the surat, when I speak about surat, it is the function of the real self, you may say. Not just necessarily the mind. This question is so huge. The answer is this so huge, will take 10 hours because there's so much to it. Can you get just rid of the attachments? Good luck, you know. Not even people after they've been initiated, this is like a very easy way to do it. The only way I know is to have attention on the master and love. In this case, this is the unconditional love and unconditional seeking. When I mean unconditional love, there's when I mean by that is the grace of the master. So there's a point where when you come across someone who is living master, saint like Mr. Puri was, this process will start, and especially starts after initiation. And in a way, there's nothing to stop that. You will lose interest. The more you go within, the more you realize, you see, the mind, it's all one, but the mind I like to see in the stages. But there's a stage on this path, Satsang Yoga, and this is explained through these masters, to really get rid of all these attachments. I mean, like for good, you have to cross Van Vargufa. When this process is complete, let's call it process, you will lose attachment, including attachment to meditation and all of that. None of that can cross that region. Every ideas you have, you're gonna lose interest after you cross, in that sense. Now, when we speak about the mind, we have this baggage of these lives. And some of these attachments to this life, they come from our past lives in that sense, or the future lives. There's a point in the consciousness that even your future lives and your past lives, there's no difference in that sense. In fact, all your attachments, they just a trick of the mind. And we have so many of those, and to get really to control them, it's not necessary to fight with them. It's just to have your attention, to have a different goal in this life. So let's say there's someone who is not initiated into path of Santmat. And what do I do in a situation in that case? We may go to all these different gurus. But please understand that the person you go to, or guru, they can only help you as far as their state of awareness. And in this physical life, or what we call physical life, and this experience through astral form, if you go beyond the astral form, now you're dealing with the causality. There's a third body, causal body, and then you will discover all these different things. Now, Anurag Sagar, for those who are familiar with that, or Ocean of Love, he explained a lot about this too. And many of these attachments are represented as what they call traps of Kandaranjan, or the universal mind, so to speak. We like to put personalities in all of this, we like to see personification within the inner, like someone with the head and the arms and legs. Let's please understand that these are just vortexes within the mind. Can I forget about my attachments? Like they never existed? I don't know about that. I mean, we can erase the memory, maybe try somehow. But even if you erase the memory or those attachments, physical attachments, they stay in the astral form and in the causal form. There's a huge science about that. What do you do? But in the end, it is the grace of the master. He's the one who can help you with all of that. And this is the process, just like meditation is the process. It takes time. Mr. Puri speaks about 5-6 lifetimes. People say, well, I want to do all this now. I want to get rid of all this and change my whole life around, What do I do? And the master said 5 or 6 lifetimes. Now, in the case of initiation from Jama Sin promise to the great master, to Mr. Puri, we're speaking about 4 lifetimes. So now the process is there's a speed up of the process in that sense. I don't know any other way. You can study, you can read all the books, and you can do all kind of transcendental meditation. Ultimately, or any yoga system, ultimate, of this yoga system dealing with the astral form, physical form, ultimately is the grace of the master. In our case, that was the grace. In my case, it was the grace of the great master and Mr. Puri, as the great master. And this is a natural process; it will just fade away. But many those who are even initiated, they still dwell in the attachments. And this is explained in Surcha Yoga or Radhaswami Yoga, in the manuals, in the sense, this master will explain this as a second stage. There are 4 stages in Sutra Yoga, and they deal with different inner experiences or levels of these inner experiences. Some attachments could be, needed. If you have a family to support, you're attached to your family, but all of this is temporary. Now, there's a point on this path when you realize that this is the individual path, even in the meditation. So there's a point when you give all the attachments away, even attachments to your closest ones, because all these attachments are within the mind itself. So trying to forget or get rid of that without the grace of the master, in my opinion, as Cezary, this will have a limited effect. So this is very, very, very hard part to deal with on the spiritual journey. But the mechanics of, if I have to speak about the mechanics, all these different bodies, how that is reflected, that is the satsang itself. Ultimately, it's love, unconditional love, and seeking the master, or seeking the true. It will allow us to pass all that. Now, if you look at generally, everyone is seeking outside, generally. Even the people who were initiated by the perfect master, they still are seeking outside. That will bring me to the next subject. Actually, I have a question. I don't know if this answer specifically, I'm kind of going in general way about this. But the more you go within, the higher the realization within the consciousness. The things will fade away. It's naturally. It's not like we have to just chain ourselves to the tree or something. No, the answer is within. And I personally know only one way to be with the perfect living master. Perfect living master, we're talking about Sat Guru as spoken, Sat Guru, the saint. And people outside in this life can either help you or can make it worse, But ultimately, it is all, we are responsible for everything. Everything which happens in our life, we are responsible. we can be talking about this for a long time. It's a very good subject. The realization, well, what is the cure for that? You know, that is the individual realization. And I don't know any other way except being with the saint, perfect master, perfect living master. At least in my case, I will never be able to break through my own attachments, you know. And they will fade naturally. If you try to push it, you will even concentrate more on that. Because the concentration, even in meditation, is the function of the mind. Totally function of the mind, even the concentration. So the more we concentrate on our faults or attachments, anything like that. So these masters are giving very simple question. When people go ask Gurinder Sen, you know, what should I do? Many times he answers, be a good person, you know, live the good life, be a good person. And if you're lucky enough to come across the perfect guru or perfect living master, he will take over and he will initiate this process, and he will help you. Definitely. I mean, if you try to do it on your own, any of the spiritual work, so to speak, good luck. There's necessity of the master. I don't know any other way. You can try, and you let's say you go and do meditation, and it will give you some effect, you know. It will help your mind, this and that. But there's a point within that process which you will not, no one is able to cross, in my understanding, unless you're with the perfect living master. So hopefully you can hang around with someone who is who has that realization, you know. Since Mr. Puri is not here in his physical form anymore, but there are some other masters, you know. I mean, in this sense, the worldwide leader in Sant Mat is Sant Gurinder Singh Dhillon out of Bias, you know. He has millions in following. There's another master, Rajendra Sen. He also has a huge following in India, and you know, in US also. And I met Rajendra Sen. I spoke to him, and I had the dinners, you know, with Rajendra Sen and his wife. Long time ago, there was a smaller group, and Wheaton Naperville area. There was we're talking about 200 years way back, you know. So there are masters who can help you. Now, the reason I'm speaking, I have respect to Gurinder Sen and to Rajendra Sen is because my master, Ishwar Puri, he also had a respect, great respect, you know. In fact, I know many people, one of the closest people, you know, and many people initiated by one or the other, you know. So there's always the way, you know, like they say. If there's a seeking, there's always the way. The life will rearrange itself. But I don't want to give someone the false impressions, you know, that these attachments can be overcome easily. But there's a point in the life of the man or woman when this can be accomplished, you know, if you're with the master. In other words, I can have a life of the great sinner, you know, have all the attachments or bodily attachments, anything like that. But this can be reversed if you're in a company, let's say, of the perfect saint, just to be in his aura, these things are going to start dissolving, you know, changing. There's no way, there's no resist. The body and the mind cannot resist that. Now, even the seeking is the form of attachment. So please understand, even if you're seeking this love and this truth within the mind, that is the attachment itself. And this is still another satsang, you know. And because now we're talking about seeking of the form, and that's where this comes to play. So if anyone has another question, we can address that. This process is natural if you with the perfect guru. I don't mean Sadguru, because the Sadguru, you didn't stay with the mind. This is the seeking of the perfect noble mind. This is what Sharon Sen was speaking about, you know. People ask him these questions, you know, and just like this question, he will say it's all within the mind. It's 100% within the mind. All these relationships, all these attachments, and all of it. This is the mind. If you try to find with the mind, good luck, you know. Mind is a good tool to use, but, you know, if you allow the mind to be the boss, that's a very not easy way to go in life about. Some people try to deal with in this yoga system, or they with all different attachments. You know, they will go to become a monk or go to convent, or, you know, practice some austerities type of yoga. You know, or they come to this the state of samadhi kind of state. You know, that they just you have to watch them and feed them, you know. That is attachment itself. Anything you seek in that sense is attachment. So when you come to so let me explain another aspect. When you come to the perfect living master, his role is to get rid of those samskaras within by disattachments, you know, these different attachments as expressed to these different inner bodies. But sometimes even perfect living master will temporarily create the samskara within you, just to help you with that process. Although the job is to take rid of all of these attachments, all these samskaras. Looking at your mind, he mastered that perfect saying. He may put samskara into you temporarily to help you with that process. Now, if you go to someone who is not skilled in that, they make it worse, you know. So even if you're looking for advice, you know, we have to be very careful who we go and ask for advice, even within the Sangha. It may be advisable, not advisable to go just to anyone, you know. There are people who claim they can help you, you know, they can do it for you. Be very careful for promises like that, false promises. In my life, it's all grace of the master. In fact, from Socha Yoga point of view, or Sant Mat, as expressed in Sant Mat, it's master. The answer for this is the master. Second answer is the master. And the third answer is the master. That is the answer. Master, master, master again. because we do not see the whole show. Masters, they do see the whole show, and they operate from the consciousness when they can see what they can do, you know. In other words, you may have attachments all your life or deal anything. You may go to the perfect living master, have his darshan, have his initiation, and for him it may take 1 second. He doesn't need to sit with you for hours. 1 second, and he can just arrange on that. If you're with the perfect living master. That is the only way I know about it. Everything else, it's sooner or later we fall in the trap trying to deal with it. Everything else is temporary. I do not know about any other permanent solution. You can go to the best psychologist or best smartest person on the planet. So the only permanent solution is the master. Perfect living master, perfect living master, and perfect living master. If you're lucky to be, he has to pick you up in that sense. Now, the process of picking up, it's not like these masters just come with their list, a long list on the paper, and when they're born, this is given to them. The process is different. And most people think, the master comes in and he comes in with all these souls he's supposed to take care of it. The process works differently. This has to be explained in the satsang. In other words, this is a life process, but let me put it this way. This is the living process. That's why we call a person like that the perfect living master. So I wish everyone the best luck to find someone like that or be found. Now, most people will say, well, master has to find you, has to find you, but that's not just hold true, because even Seven Sin, I was reading Hazur Baba Seven Sin, the great master, I was reading some of his letters and things he said. And I was like, whoa. And he said, we do have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to seek. And I was like, whoa, I thought it's just, it's all up to the master and so forth. Which it is, but we also have a responsibility to give our attention to it. It's a matter of attention, a surat. So I wish everyone to have that opportunity, if not in this life, maybe in the next life or life after that. The positive it is that even if you have a darshan of the perfect living master, and even if you're not initiated by him, the promise is that when you come back, when you reincarnate, it will be human form. And that is a huge gift. Excuse me. If you come across the real perfect living master, he initiates you, then the process is different. He will take care of everything. So unless someone has a different question, and I explained this process, what the real initiation is in the past, and there's some satsangs, so we spoke about this. Because many of us, we think, like we're different, that the process of dying is different, or the process of dying while living is different. It is the same. We're all gonna die the same. We are part of the same process. the question is, when you're at that process, withdrawing the attention from the physical form, and the process is the same, but where do you go? It depends on something else. And this is not very misunderstood what happened. If you seek the true with unconditional love, the true seeking, not the seeking from the mind, because if you're seeking from the mind, just a noble mind, seeking the perfect mind, the universal mind, which is incredible consciousness. Anyone who had experience of that, this is the point of, in the beginning was the Word was of God, and the Word was God. This is that consciousness. So it's unlimited in that sense, including love. It's not the kind of awareness of standing in front of the boogeyman, like please understand that the Kali Niranjan was most devoted son of Satpurush. He's the one who stood for millions of years, 3 times or so, 74, on one leg, so to speak, in the river, So he's speaking about most devoted son, but we make him, we're at fault for everything, He takes the blame for everything. And he's the one who created you, your body, physical body, your astral form, your mind, 100%. So this is the seeking of the mind. As long as you're seeking from the mind, you're always in the process of reincarnation, under this law of karma, so to speak, which is, there's a state of consciousness which does not apply, none of that. But from my perspective, so the seeking is what I'm speaking about is the seeking from the soul, not from the mind. But most of us seeking from the mind. And so what I say, speaking from the soul, a different form of intuition. This is not just intuition as we understand from the mind, or seeking from the mind. And to get rid of all of that, if you would like to call it, you have to go beyond that. And this is where the master takes you. In fact, the perfect living master, his concern is once you go in touch with one, his concern is to take you, he operates from beyond the mind. I mean, he still operates within the mind, but his role is take it to beyond, beyond the mind. Or what I mean in this satsangs, beyond the mind, beyond Vamvargufa. Because there's a mind, we call this Brahmanda, Brahman, and there's a Par-Brahman, so perfect living master, he operates from what you will say Satlok. Some call it Sataloka, or true home. So no matter what, if you initiated or not initiated, if you are with the perfect living master, or you are not with the perfect living master, the seeking should be of the true home. And that is the grace of the master. And Sancharan Sen, he explained that. And some people will say, well, that's it. And he explained that the choice is made there. So in your case, on my case, with all our attachments, everything is going through, we are under the impression that we can actually do something about it. We can try this, we can try that. But actually, the choice is made in a lot higher than that. And Sanchara Sen was saying, Father knows the best, you know. So it's the best, best to if you are found by perfect living master and you're seeking one, you know, this seeking, this process, it will fulfill itself, you know. There's no no power in the universe to stop that. There's no power in the universe to stop this process. And once you come across that master, you know, if it was me, I would, you know, go to his feet and have to, you know, even like what Raj was saying, don't do that, you know. I would just, I'll do it because, as you know, I spoke about this on the other satsangs, you know, this whole process. In fact, when Mr. Puri, with his grace, you know, accept me, or let's say adopted me, you know, in that sense, that was the greatest gift, you know, greatest gift in this life. I will take some more questions if you want to stay to listen some other subjects. Unless someone has a question, something new.
He just wrote some question.
It's not a question, it's just a statement, I presume.
The statement. So if you do not have any more questions, if you want to stay for a little bit more time.
Oh, he says it's a question.
Is a question.
I'll have to read it out.
Is it in English or
permission?
in Polish?
In English.
It's in English.
Okay, go ahead.
He says, perfect living masters realize Sachkhand and begin their role as PLMs at different times of their life, usually after their master passes away their physical form, at which point in life Ishwarji had realized Sachkhand and his role as a PLM.
Which point Mr. Puri realized that?
Yeah. At which point in life Ishwarji had realized Sachkhand and his role as a PLM. He initiated the first person about 25 years after the great master Sawan Singh Ji passed away physical form. So this is his question.
This question could only be asked of Mr. Puri. Says Mr. Puri left his physical form. I don't have a permission to answer this question. I have no permission to answer this question for Mr. Puri. This is like people who ask Mr. Puri when he was alive, have you been to Sachkhand or have you seen Radha Swami? These actual questions on the record. People were ask Mr. Puri, and his answer was, I have no permission of my master, of great master, Huzur Baba Sawan Singh, to answer this. Please understand that Sutra Yoga is a very individual path. Just like looking at someone, your neighbor or your friend or someone, we all have an individual karma. And our life is adjusted according to the karma too, you know. Even the masters, they have a karma, perfect living masters. If they did not, they would not be able to be here, you know, with us. So the karmic conditions, speaking generally, they affect each of us. Me, they affect Grace, you know. There's different types of karma. So this question, with all due respect, I cannot answer. Now, if Mr. Puri was still in his physical form, you could answer. You could answer. Have this question posted to him. Will he answer that question? That would be up to Mr. Puri. So I'm sorry, I don't have a permission to speak about that. With all due respect to you, I mean, it's a very interesting question. It's but this is not a question I can answer. I can answer for me, my experience in that sense, based on my karma about this life, what I do, what's the seva we're doing. I'm not making any claims to be a master, anything like that. So I'm just a sevadar, but even my life, it's based on my karma, Even connection with Mr. Puri, My connection with Mr. Puri and Grace connection with Mr. Puri, very long time. We've been waiting for this very long time. This is the culmination of a life in that sense, to be with perfect living master, like he is, So, but to speak for other master, I wouldn't dare. Who am I to even to say anything like that? Now, generally speaking, in Saint Mat, if you read through the Saint Mat, they speak. Some of the saints are born that way, some as a master. This is not my opinion. I'm just forwarding, what's written in the Saint Mat literature. Some become ones, become the master at one point in their life. So the definitions of what that is, So, but to speak for anyone, I wouldn't dare. Who am I to speak about things like that? Do I know the answer to this question? Yes, I do, but I'm not allowed to speak, address this. So it is, I'm done with it. I'm sorry. Anyone has another question?
Yes, Tejender has posted a question. If I may, I can read it out. Who asked the question in the beginning about Tejendra has a follow-up question. He says, thanks for answering the question. And if we are not initiated by master, what efforts we have to do to create our love for master, and what can we do if we hurt other soul unconditionally? How to feel sorry so that the mind cannot create guilt within ourselves?
Whoa, that's like a 3 questions, So the major question is, what can we do if we are not initiated, correct?
Yes. What efforts we have to do to create our love for master? And the third, what can we do if we hurt other soul unconditionally? How to feel sorry so that...
Yeah, this process is not about effort. And this is a very good question. I would like to answer this question, but I need like 5-minute break. Is that okay? So those who wants to stay, I just need to take a break, 5 minutes.
We'll see each other after 5 minutes.
Yeah, also 5 or so minutes. Sorry. This is kind of informal part, we're having a kind of friendly conversation, question and answers between those who are still in attendance. I need a little sugar. So are we back, Pranay?
Yes, Cezary ji, everyone.
I need some sugar in my body. Please understand that I'm trying not to avoid these questions. Some of these questions are very good. In that sense that I had some questions, but I had opportunity to ask Mr. Puri about that in person when I was with him. So I was able to ask him so many different questions, which normally I will never know in that sense, unless I was with him, me and Grace, we were with him. He will give us a lot of time. So there was opportunity to. But many of these answers I cannot share. I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. It's just, even when we were with him, I have no permission to speak about many things, you know. He will tell me to just like this tape face, you know, the show in Las Vegas, you know, to be like that, you know. I'm able to share some of this, and I already share through the satsangs for last year a lot of personal stories, you know. But there's many questions you may have about Mr. Puri, but those will have to be addressed to him, you know, at the time. Now it's too late. So that was the time to ask if you had the opportunity. So I can only say so much, but I understand someone having all these different questions, because I was at the stage, I also, there was a stage, you know, the time when later this all vanished, you know, because you come to the state of that there are no more questions. All the questions are from generated in the mind, all of them. And the way the mind operates, the faculty of buddhi and all the rest, you know, the answer has to exist in the mind for the question to be even. If you want to post, when you post the question, the answer is already there. The mind is not able to form the question unless it has an answer for it. So, but any answer and a question is 100% within the mind. I'm not trying to discourage that this is not important. It is important, because in my experience, you know, we all had the questions one time or the other. And in fact, when Master take you under his wings, so to speak, you know, he's looking what the questions you have, you know, in you, and he's trying to arrange the answers. Sometimes you may get the answer in different form, you know. And there's a stage what we call the universal mind, or noble mind, or perfect mind. So this is the stage we are going into beginning, so to speak. You know, once we reach that stage, which is a causal region, this lower causal and higher causal, you know, and we're dealing with all these questions. When you cross the mind, and this process is explained by many gurus, what that may mean, but to really understand, you have to have experience of it. Once anyone has a true experience, spiritual experience, no more questions. So when I ask the satsang, is there a question, and anyone has a question, I'm speaking to the mind. I'm speaking to your mind, literally. I'm probing the mind, okay? In that sense, and I know the answer is in each of you, just like within me, you know, within my mind. But this is 100% mind. true experiences, spiritual experiences, they have nothing to do with the mind. No question is possible. There's some stories about this, disciples, going to the gurus, and in Saint Martin, so Yoga, they will explain, there's a point when Mr. Puri spoke about this in his satsang. He explained that when he had a question to his master, and after that he never had any more questions. So maybe I answered this previous question indirectly, and if so this next question. Could you read that again, Paranay, for me? What I wrote here is, what can we do if we are not initiated? What is the other part? Paranay?
Yes, sure. How do we create a love for Master? That's the second question. The third,
Okay.
The third, what can we do if we hurt other soul unconditionally? How to feel sorry so that the mind cannot create guilt within ourselves?
So if we hurt other soul,
Yes, if we hurt other soul unconditionally, what can we do? How to feel sorry so that mind cannot create guilt within ourselves?
you mean hurt, like cause harm to someone? Is that what you're saying?
This is a question. I'm
Yeah.
reading it out as it is. Yes,
Hurt, right?
what can we do if we hurt other soul unconditionally?
That is not possible. You cannot hurt other soul. You can hurt other mind, but not the soul, because there's no connection between soul and the mind. In that state of a word, there's no right or wrong another way of speaking, trying to verbally express. So that is not possible. Please understand that there's on the self. There's on the self. So everything happens within the self. Now, when you say soul, most people speak about the mind. That is the mind. The understanding of the soul is the mind. So when you heard the soul, you heard this is the mind. The mind cannot hurt the soul. And this was explained to me by the great master. So was to Grace. It's hard to believe that, when we were in India with Mr. Puri, and we were his guests. Literally, he will make these arrangements. We were his personal guests. So because of that, we were able to attend the satsang. I forgot the day, but it was the day, basically the day before we left India, Delhi, before, and the master was going at the time, he was flying to Dubai, I believe. But we flew back to US. But anyway, so we attended this satsang. And like I said, I spoke about this before, 25 minutes that took, maybe longer actually. Anyway, so this was the satsang by Hazur Baba Savan Singh. And I know now that your mind is going to ask the question, how is that even possible, right? When we celebrate Great Master Bandara on April the 2nd. And talking 1948, so. But anyway, so we attended this satsang, and the great master, one of the things he explained, and Mr. Puri was there, of course. I was sitting like Mr. Puri, there was someone here. I give this seat to someone else, you know, so I sat a little bit back, you know. And the one of the, what he explained, a great master, and I'm trying to quote actually exactly how it was spoken. And the great master started the satsang in the sense that he said that there was a lot of misunderstandings on this path. And the way I look at it is he's speaking about now. There's a lot of misunderstanding about this path of Sant Mat right now too, you know. But one of the, what he said, soul has no connection with the mind. Soul does not have a connection with the mind. I'm trying to quote, never had, doesn't have now, and never will. Those other words of the great master as translated to me, you know, in English, because I don't understand Hindi, but they were spoken in English. They were not spoken in Hindi or Punjabi and other languages, so they were spoken actually a little in English words. So you cannot hurt other soul, because the existence, if you want to call that, of the individual soul, it's outside of the mind. And this is outside of Van Vargufa region within this, if you want to stack them up, you know, like a pancake, so it's all within. So the guilt is also within the mind. 100%. The guilt that you experience is within the mind. And the cause of that guilt is also within the mind. So it is a treacherous way to deal with these aspects, you know, but if you worry about that, you hurt the other soul. That is, you're speaking about, when you say other soul, you're speaking about other mind. This is all within the regions of mind. Now, what do you do? Do I go do some penalty or go for confession, or, you know, what's done is done. Please understand that through the process of reincarnation, we all participate in all these different experiences. A lot of people like to, they will say, I like to know the truth. Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth about the self or the mind, or what did I do last past lifetime, you know, what role did I play, or was I with the master or not? Or if you could look in your past lives, your surat attention in all your past lives, you will discover that we all went through all these different experiences, including the masters. So the person who, when do you become the master, you know? Like the question, past question. This is the process. So Grace and I she spoke about this, that maybe you like to say this, or you want me to say this?
Yes.
So we were with the master, and there was a time I had to go, we had to move, you know, that was in Las Vegas. So I had to go get my car. But because the way I am, I went to the parking and I couldn't find my car. I forgot which floor I was, you know. It's like a multiple level parkings, the thousands of cars, you know. So master is sitting with Grace, and Grace had the opportunity, you know, to hear a lot of different things. from the master. But there was a time when I had to go, I had to go this different chores, I had to go get the pills to the drugstore for master. I mean, you name it. I was running around doing seven, for the master. I was so happy doing that. But one time I had to go someplace, and Grace was with the master, and it was that time you spoke about I'm a sinner.
And that was in the Tao restaurant.
That was in the Tower restaurant.
Yeah, you went to washroom.
Yeah, I went to washroom. Yeah, I didn't want to say where I went, but I had to go, to washroom. So, and Grace said to the master, "I am a sinner." And what did you say? I mean,
Master was saying that, well, Grace, I'm a sinner too. Otherwise, we will be not sitting together down here.
so master explained to Grace, "I'm a sinner too, Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here together."
Yeah.
So don't get caught up in this process. I mean, if I was a saint, or we all were saints, we'd be in heaven somewhere, we will have a wings, and flying in astral heaven, or we will be in hell, we'll have the guys with the pitchforks, chasing us. It's a little joke, it's a metaphor, these are all stages within the mind. So to be born here, you will have a good and bad karma. So are the masters, and Mr. Puri explained that. So the guilt, maybe the guilt will really, it's something will destroy the mind. We're trying to destroy the mind, the guilt. So
what about the love?
what about the love for? The first one was, what can we do if we are not initiated? It is a very good question. On the part of Sutra Yoga, was represented in Sant Mat, the initiation is a must. And this initiation has to be done by the perfect living master. I can share, and this is a must. The answer to that, there's always not a lifetime. And as cruel as this may sound, from the perspective of the soul, as we spoke, this is a very short time. 1, 2, or 3 lifetimes, it's not long. And when the mind is like millions of years, even your astral form, thousands of years, so to speak. Most of us, I want to know, what do I do? If you come across, let's put it that way, or you have opportunity for the master to I said adopt, like in my case, he adopted me. But this has never been questioned. Initiation, and I spoke about this some time ago. This 3 principles was necessary, It's true seeking, with love and devotion, the Shabad and the word of the master. Most people do not understand what that is, This is just a verbal explanation of that, But so when I had I can share this because I shared that before. when I met Mr. Puri, I had the first interview in the Synergia ranch, 5-minute interview. This is when my first interview with Mr. Puri, with Perfect Living Master. Because before that, I went for Prashad and there was total recognition. We even didn't say a word. We even didn't say a word. I didn't speak a single word. We just had this darshan. He was sitting on like a podium. I will have a darshan with this piercing through all the way to the origination, of the name and form. So that is Satlok, origination. That's where all this really name and form can. That is where it starts or ends. So I have this interview, and during this interview, I asked him, so out of just out of my own self, so it just happened, and I said, "Do I have to be initiated?" And he's looking at me with this shiny eyes, and he says, "Yes." And I went for the interview with impression that I do not have to be initiated. I didn't ask Master for initiation, And I said, "Do I have to be initiated?" And he says, "Yes." And I'm like, "Whoa." My mind is, and I am, why do I have to be initiated? I thought I don't, because of my experience, when I came with the master, I said, why do I have to be initiated? What did I do? But he says, yes. So my answer to that is yes. Every time we're reborn, even if you were initiated in the past, you have to be initiated again. Now, the form of the master could be the different form than the last one, But yes, this is in Sant Mat. This is must. Now, there are some people, even the satsangis, which will tell you, no, you do not need to be initiated. That's when the soul comes from this religious to experience, they will say it's already initiated. That is not true. That undermines the whole Surcha Yoga. This is not what the master. This was never questioned by any of these masters. So, yes, the answer to that is yes. Hopefully, you initiated by someone, a guru who actually has the power of Namdan, the power of initiation. In that sense, explaining, to link it to that sun current. Answer to that is yes. So what do I do? Well, Mr. Puri explained that the seeking is the key. Seeking is the key, and there's always a master somewhere. When Mr. Puri left, he didn't leave everyone in a vacuum. Somewhere in the place or space and time. This is not possible. Masters, they have to make this arrangement. So now you may be drawn to this person or that person, on one master, let's say Master in Bias, or Rajendra Singh. Spend a lot of time in that place. He will come from India. He will live, in the US. He will give satsangs. And but I never asked him for initiation. Rajendra Sen, and I had opportunity, but it just didn't feel. I didn't feel the pull by Rajendra Sen. But when I met Mr. Puri, it was just like right away, collapse of all concepts, there was no question in my mind who, he was my master. Now these other gurus or masters, they can be for someone else, but that wasn't my case. So the seeking is the key with unconditional love. And this initiates that process. Go ahead.
That's a third one. Yeah,
Okay, the one more question I have. How we can love for the master? Can you read the second question again, Pranay?
Yes, Cezary, the question is, what efforts we have to do to create our love for the master if we are not initiated?
Love has nothing to do with effort. Any effort you create is the mind. The effort is not possible in that sense. This is the inner process. It flows from within. In other words, this happened way up there. That is the region when the real show takes place. Okay. What takes place here, as we experience, just a reflection of that. So we can within. This is very hard to explain, even harder to accept. I mean, we can consciously seek the master. We can go about the Sant Mat if this is path you're interested in, read the books maybe or something, but we can be a good person, honest person, make honest living and love your family and all of that. But the real choice is made by the self. Fortunately or unfortunately, this is where it is decided. The self decides. And this was a big question to Sancharan Sen, people will have. And he will answer this question, Father knows the best. This really comes from within. So they will ask Sancharan Sen, well, that's not fair. Why one person can be so close or have this realization and another person does not have an opportunity, the karmic opportunity? His answer was, Father knows the best, In that case, the self. This is where the real show takes place. The real revelation is not from outside in that sense. People will say, "Oh, give me a secret how this works." My mind is still questioning how do I go about and all this. What technique do I use? What do I do? How much do I meditate? No amount of meditation can take you to those regions, because the meditation is the process of the mind. This region where you have to cross, in that sense, within the consciousness, when you have to even give up meditation. You cannot take that with you. All these concepts, you cannot take it. But the real choice is made beyond that region, So no matter what we try with the mind, this will reveal itself when the time is right. And many will explain this, this is the karmic, or this is the karma, and something like that. Please understand, there's a region when that doesn't apply. There's no karma. This is the concept within the mind. Okay? And there's nothing you can do about that in that sense. You can only do something within the mind, within the name and form. But the real show is beyond the name and form and color. And that's where the real show is. The mind is like a machine in a sense, kind of. And so this expression comes from within. When it funnels itself, through the mind, it is always at the right time, And you can see this, but if you're with the Perfect Living Master, I've seen this many times. I've seen people who were around him had the possibility, opportunity, huge opportunity, biggest opportunity in the whole universe, anywhere, any region. And they didn't ask him for initiation, for example. Initiation, so going back even to the question before, initiation is when you make a deal with the master, This is the deal Mr. Puri was speaking about. And in Sant Mat and Swachab Yoga, this is the part when you get to charge mantra or simran, usually. I mean, the master, Perfect Living Master, can give you can come up with some words and he will charge those, It's been known by masters who will do that, if they're Perfect Living Master, they have a power of Namdan. But please also understand that, going back to the other question, that initiation takes place when you're initiated by the master in physical form, that really takes place in the astral radiant form. Your radiant form and the master's radiant form, because the limitations of here, of two occupying same time and space, it's not possible, but there was possible, In other words, you can have two forms occupying the same, in that sense. This is a very interesting subject. So, but I would like to point out that the true satsang is the company of Sat Purush. And the true initiation is merging into Sat Purush. So that is what we're talking about, that we should be seeking the highest, the true home. Satlok, or Sachkan, as we call, not these regions below, or Sachkans on the way, because the true initiation, this is not just a radiant form, okay, but but the true initiation takes place there, merging Sat Purush, And the company of that being, we call it, like we call him a being, Sat Purush, is true satsang. That is what the company of the true is. Now, I don't know if I answered this question, but this brings me to the question I have written here. Let me just tie into that and we can call it off. The day, like they say,